Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in. I certainly hope that you have had a wonderful afternoon. Now, we are going to get back to reading. We are in the 5 steps to real estate success. We're in step number 4, which is meet the needs of buyers and sellers. This is take number 4. So without further ado, it goes like this. Consider putting a virtual tour online. A week before the property will be listed, you can generate many calls from interested buyers who will be directed to an open house the next week. The open house will be well attended and you will have created an environment similar to an auction. The buyers will already be familiar with and interested in the home. They'll know they are in competition with one another if they choose to make an offer. When you give a well-prepared listing presentation, you exude confidence. All of your research puts you in a position in which there is no question you can't answer. Every number and statistic you cite is accurate and defendable. With this confidence, address the seller, who is interviewing other agents, by asking if you can come back after all the other presentations have been given. Should you take the listing? New agents are hungry for business and often take whatever they can get. But is every listing worth your time? Money and energy? Here are a few situations in which it could be best to walk away. Just walk away. Walk away. Let us turn the page. You should never consider buying the property or showing it to friends and relatives. The home shows poorly, and the seller doesn't want to spend any money improving it. The seller's price and our time frame expectations are unreasonable. The home has structural problems, which the seller will not address prior to listing. The seller won't agree to your commission rate and terms. Congratulations! The seller has agreed to list with you. At this time, take out the prepared listing agreement and fill in the price. Refer to this number as the amount you all agreed on. Wait for an affirmative response before moving on. Then, explain that in order to write a listing that will motivate buyers to take a look, you'll need more information. Take accurate measurements and interior digital photos. Find out what appliances and fixtures stay with the home or with the house, and what the seller plans to remove. This is a detail often overlooked by anxious agents, which can cause problems later. Ask any other questions which will help you write a great listing. pricing strategies. Your goal in listing a home is to get the right buyer through the door quickly. Price every property with that goal in mind. If the figure is too high, you severely limit the number of buyers who will even consider the home. Too low, and you find yourself in the position of dealing with an angry seller who can't net the amount they need. If you haven't worked with many buyers, enlist the help of a more experienced agent to determine the price cutoffs for your area. Typical buyers might ask to see homes in the $100,000 to $150,000 range in one city and $99,000 to $149,000 in another. Whatever upper limit your price is higher, then consider dropping it to fall within that lower range. For example, if you were thinking of a listing at $155,000 and a typical search is for homes in the $125,000 to the $150,000 range, remember that just $5,000 less will make your listing appear in the searches of many more buyers. To emphasize that point with sellers, perform a number of MLS searches on your laptop in front of them. Show them how many homes fall into each search category. If they see for themselves that pricing a few $1,000s less will place them in the search results of many more buyers, they are more likely to understand your pricing strategy. That's for visual purposes, where you show them things for visual purposes. Because you're going to tell them, it's going to be through the ears. You're going to give them paperwork, that's going to be visual for them to see it with the paperwork. Then actually you're going to do some hands-on to give them visual with the hands-on. Put the computer right here. Regarding pricing strategies, let's move right along. Buyers are more likely to understand your pricing strategy. But remember that they most ultimately set the price. You are there to educate and guide, not to coerce. Okay? Jill Birdsall, an agent from Albany County, New York, notes, pricing is not an exact science. Do your homework. Know the neighborhood, the comparables, and the property for sale. But the seller has the ultimate authority. How should you deal with a seller who insists on an unrealistically high price? Calmly explain the advantages of setting one that's more competitive. Number one, more buyers will be introduced to your home. Number two, the right price often means less negotiation. Number three, agents prefer to show well-priced homes. Number four, you are more likely to get offers and a sale in a shorter period of time. What if a seller mentions another agent who cited a higher listing price? First, remind them of your marketing and pricing goal. To get the most qualified buyers to see the property. Overpricing won't do that. If the higher price is justified as negotiating room, ask who will be doing the negotiating. Not a group of buyers pitted against one another, but typically a lone buyer who would expect you to move down to a price such as the one you suggested in the first place. And that lone buyer will probably come along months, not days or weeks from now. Explain that length of time on the market can greatly influence sale price. The first few weeks of a listing are typically the most active. After that, showings drop off. When a home sits on the market for a few months, buyers begin to wonder what is wrong with it. Buyers' agents respond by suggesting lower offers. If a property is priced right initially, they can take advantage of the volume of showings and sell faster at a higher price. Pricing strategies must also take into account the condition of the house. Some agents are squeamish about bringing up overgrown plantings, odors, and other maintenance issues. But they are doing themselves and their sellers a disservice if they don't address these problems early in the process. So just keep it 100 at the beginning. There are two reasons to tactically discuss the property's obvious negatives. First, there are many easily remedied issues that could cause the house to sit on the market. If the homeowner understands the importance of paintings, cleaning, or planting, landscaping, he or she can take care of these problems prior to the listing. Landscaping wasn't in there. That was a Poem Praise 2 ad-lib into the book. Second, here on Poem Praise 2, it is a good idea to prepare the seller for the inspection. Don't wait until there is an offer on the house to tell your client you noticed a worn roof a month ago, but thought the inspector might not make an issue of it. Point out every possible problem that an inspector could flag. Give advice on dealing with them. Explain the pros and cons of acting now instead of acting later. If the seller decides not to make repairs and they understand that it will affect the sale price, don't be alarmed. Susan Summers notes that she was sold properties in every kind of condition. It's not my job to get my sellers to fix up their homes before listing them. It's my job to be professional. Just made a word up, y'all. Okay. It's my job to be professional and knowledgeable, professional, put both of those together. Anyway, I'm going to keep it moving, y'all. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. No one right or wrong way to sell a property. If the seller is unrealistic about pricing, demanding a high price, and expecting a quick sale at that price, suggest an appraisal. It costs money, but shows that you are serious about helping them market their home properly. Educate your sellers about pricing strategy and anticipate their every question. Your answers will establish the trust and confidence needed to get through the sale as smoothly as possible. A smooth process. Now, our next take, which is going to be take number 5 here on Poem Praise 2. Let me just make a thank you for your patience. I'm going to make a note here real quick. We'll pick up on take 5 with the title of the section is going to be Disclosure Statements. And I believe with that, more than likely, we should finish up this chapter. We'll be going into chapter number 5. I'll give you a preview of what chapter 5 is going to be about. Almost wish I had a hammer, y'all, because the title of the chapter is Nail the Sale. Nail the Sale. Okay, that's the title of step 5. So I want you and your family to be blessed. Have a wonderful rest of this evening. Until I speak with you again. Till next time, be well, take care, and later, y'all.